What's up, it's your boy KC. Welcome to episode 2 of Dragonball Debunked, and today's fan theory is that Goku Black is future Goten. I don't even know where to begin on this whole thing. I don't claim to know anything about the Goku Black character yet. I'm watching it just like you guys. But it's more than unlikely that him and future Goten are the same person, because the only way for that to make sense is if it's Goten from the unseen timeline. Because you remember there are 4 different timelines in the Dragon Ball Z universe thanks to our buddy Trunks and Cell. You have the original timeline where Cell comes from. It pretty much plays out the same way as the History of Trunks timeline. The only major difference is Cell killed that version of Trunks and stole his time machine and came to the main timeline. The unseen timeline was created by the original timeline's future Trunks. He went to the unseen timeline to pretty much do the same thing that this future Trunks did in the main timeline, give Goku the heart virus medicine. He helped combat the cyborgs in the unseen timeline, found the paperwork to deactivate the cyborgs in the original timeline. This is why Cell couldn't find the androids in the first place, and he goes to the main timeline. We have the History of Trunks timeline, which Cell created. He should be in 2 different timelines, the History of Trunks and the main timeline, but they never talk about that because time travel is confusing as hell. But the History of Trunks timeline plays out the same way as the original timeline. Goku dies from the heart virus, the Z Fighters are killed 6 months later, Gohan dies 13 years later. The History of Trunks timeline ends with Trunks going to the main timeline this time, the one that we know, and he does everything that he does in the main timeline, and he's the one out there training to try to beat Goku Black. Goten doesn't exist in the original timeline or the History of Trunks timeline because Goku got sick in age 766 with the heart virus and he died before he could make Goten. Which is why I said if this fan theory is true, which I don't think it is, it would have to be Goten from the unseen timeline. But you have to think, we don't know nothing about the unseen timeline except for the battle with the cyborgs. Now it's extremely possible that the unseen timeline could be the same as the main timeline. If that's the case, then what would be the cause for Goten to be evil? It can't be lost because Goku survived the heart virus and all his friends are alive. Unless that Goten was possessed by somebody, which I highly doubt with Goku and Piccolo, Vegeta around to stop a lot of the enemies that come their way, just as they do in the main timeline. So I've come to the conclusion that I feel that Goku Black and future Goten are 2 different people, but as I said, we're just gonna have to wait and see in the future episodes exactly who Goku Black is. And that's all I got to say. I'll check you out later. Peace.